Hi everyone, welcome to Math for Teachers 1. I'm really sorry I couldn't be in class tonight. I have parent-teacher conferences at my school. Luckily, Mr. Macklin was there to cover and kind of get you guys started for this semester. Sorry to start off on this foot. I know for some of you this is your first math class with Del Tech, and some of you guys have taken a couple courses beforehand. So I look forward to spending the next 15 weeks with you guys because this is the first math course in the series of 3 if you were in the education pathway. So we will meet on Tuesday nights from 5:30 to 9:20. And I just want to give you some information that I think will really help get you started for this semester. Please put my cell phone number in your phone. Text is the easiest way to get a hold of me. If there's a problem and you can't make it to class, if you're stuck on a homework question, whatever it may be, please go ahead and shoot me a text message or give me a call. Some background information about myself. So I teach at Indian River High School now. Before here, I was at the Carver Academy for a year. So I've worked at the Indian River School District for 7 years now. This is going on my second year with Del Tech. I actually graduated from Del Tech many years ago with my elementary education associate's degree as well. And then I went on to Wilmington University to finish my bachelor's in K-6 education. And I also earned my master's through Wilmington University, and I majored in applied educational technology. I do not teach elementary education. I decided to take my secondary math praxis and special education praxis, and I work at the Indian River High School using those certifications. That being said, I utilized my elementary education degree every single day. It showed me how to have good classroom management, how to talk to students, parent-family interaction. It was really beneficial. Before that, I did a lot of different jobs. I worked for a bank. I worked retail. I used to teach English as a second language at night for the adult education program for my district. I'm also a homebound instructor for students who can't make it to school for different medical or behavioral reasons. I meet with them at a local library or at their house. So I do wear many different hats, which is why text is usually the easiest way to get a hold of me. In my spare time, pretty boring. I like to go for runs or walks. I like to be outside. I love to travel. Just bought a new house, so lots of projects going on there. But for the most part, I spend a lot of time working because I really enjoy what I do. I have a lot of great students, and I'm sure you'll hear me tell all kinds of stories throughout the semester. When we have class next week, I'll make sure that we go around because I'd like to get to know all of you guys, your names, what you're majoring in, and what you do currently. Because just like myself, a lot of you guys are balancing a lot on your plate, and it's good to kind of know where you guys are coming from. So this is kind of the agenda that we were going to go over through tonight. The course timeline, which is the most important part, in my opinion, our course policies, which are equally important, how to use D2L, MyLabs Plus, which is our homework and website for our textbook, and then the notes for 1.1 to 1.2. So with my screencast, it's only going to let me make 15-minute interval videos. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on the first couple parts for this video, and then there'll be a separate video for the big chunks of the lesson. Our first test is not for a couple weeks, so I will make sure that next class we will spend time reviewing and recapping the information that you missed out because of my absence. So I'm going to jump over to D2L. This is where our courses are, and I'm viewing this as a student, so this should mimic what yours will look like. So we're in Math for Teachers 1 this spring semester, and one of the most important things is to read announcements. So I already went ahead and posted an announcement that we don't need a textbook for this course. Your textbook is available online, and I'm going to show you how to access that in just a moment. And you need to have a calculator. You need to have a scientific or a graphing calculator. Scientific is completely fine. This is a non-negotiable. You need to have it in class every time you come. It's going to be crucial for your success in a lot of this. I'll also give you some information. There's my cell phone number once again. The email for me, it's kind of weird. It's jcinemo. It's not cinnamon. It didn't have room for the N, so just make sure you type that in correctly. And I will post announcements pretty frequently, usually either before or after every class, some reminders about studying for a test or if we have an assignment due. So at the top, I'm going to click content. And the start here is the most important part. This just says, welcome. In this module, we'll find everything you need to know about getting started in this course. You're not going to be provided a hard copy of the course syllabus. So it's really important that you read through this carefully on here. Mr. Macklin is going to provide to you the course policy and schedule as a hard copy, but you absolutely should take the time to go through and read the syllabus. So to get to the other resources, you're going to click the arrow to arrow down. And the first thing is our syllabus. You're welcome to download these and print them and things like that, but this outlines all the standards we're going to be covering in this course. The goal is for you to end up being successful in your praxis, which is what you'll need to take in order to be certified to teach in the state of Delaware or any state for that matter. And it goes through the grading policy of the college and different support if you need to get in touch with any accommodations you may need. Policies, this is something you're going to get a hard copy of, and this is really important to read over. Tests and projects are extremely important, and you must be present for them. If and only if prior approval is given, you can miss a test, and you have to make it up within 1 week. If you don't text me until after that class is passed, looking to make a test up, that test is a 0. You can't just miss or skip a test. I understand life happens, but you do need to arrange and work out something with me ahead of time. Right now, we have 2 scheduled projects, and it's something that would be group and individual that we'll talk about and discuss in class, but tests and projects obviously make up 70% of your overall grade. Homework is crucial. Attendance is crucial. In homework, 20% of your overall grade comes from your MyLabs Plus score. So if you get 100 on everything else in the course, you come to class every time, you do every exit quiz, 100 on every test, you still can only earn 80% if you don't bother to do your homework. The homework is very important. You're going to have to do homework in MyLabs Plus for Math for Teachers 2, which I also teach, and Math for Teachers 3. You will be able to submit late work on there, but you will lose a reduction in points. And however, the homework's designed to help you. So if you're not doing it before a test and you're just doing it after fact to get points, that's kind of not working out in your favor. You should use it as a reinforcer before taking an assessment. We will go more into MyLabs Plus in person as well, and I think Mr. Macklin was going to go over that in class for me as well tonight. Formative assessments are things like exit quizzes. There's an exit quiz every single class. If you are not in class, you cannot do the exit quiz. You can't make it up at a later time. Attendance is really important. If you would like to be successful in math, you need to be in class to understand it. By all means, I understand when there's an emergency or unforeseen situation, just send me a text message and check in, and I'll let you know if there's anything else that you need to do to make sure that you're prepared for next class. And the last part is we're all adults. Cell phone use, please be respectful of myself and of your classmates and have it on silent. All cell phones, smartwatches, things like that will be put away during assessments because otherwise it will result in a 0 for the test or quiz. And once again, the grading scale that's provided by Del Tech. And now the schedule, this is something that you need to have on hand at all times. I honestly would recommend taking a picture of this on your phone. It's something I find extremely useful. It just kind of goes through everything that we're going to cover, when things are due, when our spring break is, when we don't have class, when your final exam is. And it just gives you some brief reminders at the bottom of this. This is something we're going to stick to pretty diligently. If you notice, your first test is going to be January 28th. So when I return next Tuesday, we'll review the things that you were supposed to learn through 1.1 and 1.2. We'll continue on with 1.3 and 1.4. And we'll also start reviewing for our test. On the 28th, we will review a little bit before class, and then you guys will all take your Chapter 1 test that evening. So how this works The instruction information is just, my details. I don't have office hours there because I do work full-time at Indian River. However, I can make myself available to you and we can make that work. MyLabs Plus will come back to. That'll be its own separate video. It does talk about how to log into this because it can be a little tricky, and this is where everything is going to be based. And then chapter 1. So how I've designed this is every chapter will have its own folder. So chapter 1, it kind of tells you our objectives and what we're going to look for. And then week 1 is what we're missing out on tonight. So what I've done is I kind of break down what we went over. It says during week 1, we covered 1.1 and 1.2. Tells you what your homework is and when it's due. It's always due 5:30 p.m. the next class, unless I otherwise say so or your MyLabs Plus says otherwise. For this week, you need to have reviewed the syllabus, the course policies, and the course timeline. Just briefly look over the video about the 4 steps to problem solving because it is really important. Not only do we problem solve as teachers, but we need to instruct students on how to be solid problem solvers. We're also going to cover inductive and deductive reasoning, sequences in terms of arithmetic and geometric, or neither, successive differences, and number patterns. Under the folder, I also upload a copy of the blank notes, and this is something that you were provided with in class from Mr. Macklin of what we would have done. And also within the folder, I always post an answer key as well. So it's went through and the notes are filled in, any little notes that I kind of write on the side. So it's a pretty easy, foolproof way. If you miss something in class, you can definitely go on there, or feel free to bring your laptop and follow along during instruction. There are extra practice on the side. There are videos. It's a lot of resources that you can use in order to become more successful. In class, we would have done more things like task cards. Sometimes we'll do things around the room, get out of our seats, because it does make a difference, and 4 hours can be a long time to sit, so we'll find some fun ways to tie this in. So that will conclude this video of the basics of D2L and how this is going to work. There will be a separate video that will go through the actual lesson of 1.1 and 1.2. I really appreciate your flexibility and look forward to meeting you guys next week.